Are you ready for the ultimate bikepacking weekend adventure? Join us for an unforgettable self-supported bikepacking trip through Southwest Virginia. The Grayson Gravel Pie Bikepacking Adventure travels along the Virginia Creeper Trail, the beautiful gravel roads of Grayson County, Virginia, and the New River Trail. All lodging and camping arrangements are included, along with daily routes and guides riding along with you. This self-supported adventure offers resupply opportunities every 20 miles for your food and water needs. Find out more at graveltraveldirt.com.
You're listening to Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian.
And I'm Joey.
And I'm Jess.
This is episode 179 of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. If you're new here, this is a podcast where we talk about gravel bikes, adventure biking, bike packing, bike camping, or just playing bikes. That was a very professional open, I thought. Well, maybe one of our most professional opens.
Nobody's laughing at each other.
No.
Nobody's
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Because Joey's not paying attention.
Scrolling on his phone. Yeah.
Are you happen to be looking at the Instagram for Cutaway USA?
No.
Because, you know, they offer premium cycling apparel born in the Blue Ridge Mountains. You like I did that one? I haven't had a really good. Smooth. Yeah. Cutaway USA is an industry leader using innovative fabrics combined with clean, bold designs. Make sure to visit their website to see all the jerseys, cycling apparel, and gear that they offer. Head on over to cutawayyusa.com. And when you reach checkout, use the code GTD20 to take 20% off your entire order. There will be a link, and that code will also be in the show notes. My Cutaway USA kit it performed beautifully at GRUSK over the weekend.
Nice.
I was
I'm
very
glad.
well, you know, you're making sure
Yeah.
that, you know, the quality is there with the product, and it was really on point. I loved having the cargo bibs. I'm telling you, how did we ride without cargo bibs before?
Well, you know, back in the 90s, we had cargo shorts.
Jenko cargo shorts.
No.
Well, I don't seem to ride with stuff in my cargo bib, my pocket.
But you can, you don't know it's there.
Yeah, but you don't know it's there, but I'm always worried if I fall on something. But when I get off the bike, it's like having pockets to put stuff in, which is what that's where I seem to use them, and they shine for me. Now, that GTD20 is a special discount just for our listeners. You don't have to have the GTD kit to get the super cool cargo bib pockets. You can get it on just his regular cargo bib sets of bibbies, and we should call them bibbies.
Bibbies.
I actually like that. I like that. We'll start a thing.
Bibbies.
In the world of gravel.
How are your bibbies doing?
Your bibbies fitting you well?
How are your bibbies doing?
Are they holding all of the things in right places? How are your bibbies?
He does a terrible Moira impersonation.
I don't even really do Moira. You do a great Moira. You basically are Moira.
I know.
So we're going to talk a lot about GRUSK, but Joey, since you weren't there, is there anything that you need to talk about or you would like to talk about?
No, I had the black lung. I had some lung viral infection.
Are you all clear now? Have you gotten the all clear, or are you just based upon the fact?
I basically just went to urgent care after the heavy stuff.
Okay.
I basically, if I don't, I need to take this a lot more than I should.
Your inhaler?
Run it on an inhaler.
So tell me, how many COVID tests did you actually go through?
Just one every day.
One every day. Well,
And
that's
then
smart.
2 at the doctor's.
Yeah.
But no COVID.
No COVID.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing that you can have something that's respiratory in today's world
Yeah.
and it not be
I've
COVID.
dodged COVID more than anyone I know.
Yeah.
My tummy really hurt when I had COVID. I told Joey, I was like, I think it was the pizza. Like, I didn't know what it was, but it was COVID.
I had my booster shot Monday morning.
We made the appointment while we were in the car at GRUSK.
Nice. Yes, and I had to delay because I had my PT appointment. Nobody wants to hear about all that. But it did yesterday. It didn't hit me as hard as the last booster shot I got. I just felt a little groggy and kind of out of sorts yesterday.
I got the COVID booster in one arm and the flu shot in the other arm.
At the same time?
At the same time.
I thought this was the Joey segment.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Good
Okay.
grief.
So is there anything you need to tell us about your
No,
black
I
lung?
just wasn't. I felt horrible.
You didn't work
Nasty.
a lot last week, and
No, it was the worst thing ever was, so last Saturday I got hit really hard. Sunday I was like, all right, I'm not used to just not work. I don't know. I went to work for a little bit, Still, came home, felt bad. Monday sucked. Tuesday sucked. So I made Jess a promise that I'd go to the doctor by Wednesday. But basically, I didn't work Tuesday or Wednesday. And the 4th of July is usually like, we do a big ride on the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. And I never take days off in the summer. Like, you just don't do it. So it sucked taking 2 days off.
Yeah.
On top of the holiday to just lay on the couch. I got in such a good rhythm with riding. My momentum was up, and then bam.
But you got to be careful with COVID bouncing around out there. You can't let your immune system get down. And so, like, if you're sick in some kind of way, you did the right thing by like.
I'll tell you what though. There was a couple nights there where I was, I was either making like a hot toddy or like a mule. Mm-hmm. It helped me go to sleep, but I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd have to sleep on the couch a couple nights.
Well, I'm glad
I lost my momentum.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
So I couldn't, because I was questioning going to GRUSK, but I definitely, because I was going to go out Saturday night. I'm glad I didn't because in the rain.
Because we left too.
So we actually, when I was nervous, I was like, I know Joey is feeling okay, and I know that we are leaving because of the rain. And I tried really hard to walk around and try to get service so I could text you so that you didn't start packing up and heading down.
Thought about surprising you guys.
I knew that. I knew that. We talked about that.
I was like, because I could have... Yeah, I would have brought Blake. If I didn't get him in the tent, he would have slept in the car. I would have made a bed.
It was fun, but I mean, everybody knows it rained Friday night and Saturday. Like the only time we were there, it just rained, and it wasn't like that. We had some heavy rains apparently overnight, but it was kind of just like that spitting rain that gets you cold and damp and. Just took a lot of... Do you want to talk about GRUSK and just bounce back and forth, Jess?
Yeah, that's fine. My friend Cindy, who was in the dorm with me, was very happy I was not snoring up her area on that night because...
How do you know? Did you ask her?
I didn't see her. I saw her at breakfast, and I was like, should I say something? Like, this is awkward. Like, I know I snore like a truck driver. So yeah. So it was... Cindy was glad I was not sleeping with her. Well, not sleeping with her, but sleeping in the same dorm as her.
You saw logs, so I don't know if she just was polite and was like...
But we were in the mud hut, and I 100% was telling Brian, I was like, if Joey was here, he would make a joke about always being in the mud hut, but...
I don't know. We had beautiful weather going on Friday, though, didn't we? Gorgeous. It was hot. And it was, humid, but we knew we were going up to the mountains, and the sun was out, and the sky was blue. It was almost like as soon as we got there, it turned gray.
Yeah.
It just felt like...
And even when we were hanging around with the people next to you, they were, we were shifting because of the sun and making sure we were drinking water because it was hot for what I thought it would be up in the mountains.
So some riders did actually go out Friday morning.
Trevor did.
And, yeah... It was that 220 kind of thing. And so I'm going to just go ahead and tell the Jess story.
Okay, go ahead.
Because Joey has not heard this story, and I cannot
I wasn't going to come home and make fun of myself to
believe him, you haven't heard. Well, it's just such a... I'm going to try to tell it in a manner that represents how it went down. So if you're familiar with the venue, there's the yurts and the places where all the things happen. And then down in sort of like the little low areas, the finish line. And there's a finisher chute that comes down and it turns a couple of times. And so there's a bunch of us at the deck, standing up around on the deck, milling about. It was when we had just gotten there. And there's a bunch of people down at the beer tent, which is down by the finisher chute. Mm-hmm. And Jess, I'm assuming, looks up and sees two people that are all kitted up, and they're riding their bikes down the finishing chute. Now, to be fair, riders did go out earlier in the day. Yeah. So there is the possibility that they could have been the finishers, but your wife, she's a
cheerer.
She's an athletic supporter. So she's out there clapping and beginning the process of like, go finish, yay. And these people were just out for a little pre-ride, and the entire deck full of people turns around and sees people coming down the finish chute, and they also begin to cheer. Then all the people down at the beer tent begin to cheer. Everyone is cheering for these.
Everyone to cheer.
These two people that were just like on a leisurely.
Oh hell yeah!
And it was it genuinely was probably the funniest thing I think that happened probably the whole weekend, maybe besides waiting in the traffic. That was also quite fun for me, not for you.
She was 100% a triathlete because she was wearing a Betty team kit. And Betty is a very high-end triathlon thing. Like, it's a very exclusive club. And she was all in her Betty kit, like, ready to go. And, here I am just cheering for these people, just taking a leisurely bike ride through the finisher chute. Everybody starts cheering. And then, Joey, at
this is the best part.
Somebody says, I was just going out for a bike ride and all these people started cheering for me and I didn't know what was going on. And I kept looking around and I was like holding my hand. I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing.
So they were talking about it at breakfast the next day about that it was really, I think you almost had to be there to see the spirit of what was happening because there was a lot of people. It was infectious and it just spread super quick.
Everybody wanted to cheer.
And maybe that's it. Maybe everybody
just was, we were all excited, pumped up, and
So, tent, the camping, and you were in the dorm in the mud hut.
I was in the mud hut,
and I was in the truck, and the Friday night was fun. I enjoyed the check-in and meeting people. We camped with Larry. And that was so nice that you came up, you abandoned the mud hut, and you came up the hill, and you hung out with us like almost all until it was like...
Until 8:30, my bedtime, Joey.
Until dark time.
Yes, it was very important that I
kind of talked to you. I just fixed her bike.
Yeah?
Yeah, half the neighborhood's in my store now.
So Larry was there, and Larry met some folks, I guess, in 2019 from West Virginia. Jeremy, Jason...
those folks met Larry.
It's true. It's true. Larry doesn't meet you. You meet
Larry. Yeah.
Jeremy, Jason, Scott, Daryl, PJ, and Kevin, and we had a lot of fun Friday night and Saturday morning too, because race time didn't actually start until like 10:30, something like that. The waves as they went out. I will say the truck tent. This is the first time I've used my truck tent. It worked really well, I thought. It's like it goes in the bed of the truck, and so there's plenty of room.
You look cute. She sent me pictures.
Being up off the ground is
so nice.
Really nice. It's really nice. How was the mud hut?
It was good. I had a mummy sleeping bag.
I got her a new sleeping bag.
You got her a mummy bag?
Yeah.
Yeah. So It was warm.
Nice. Are you a cold sleeper?
I am. I like it very cold when I sleep. But I liked the feeling of being like enclosed.
Because you like those heavy blankets too, right?
I very much do. So, I had Joey's portable cell phone charger, and I charged my cell phone, my aftershocks. I listened to my AirPods while I was sleeping, and Friday night I assembled my ears. So I put my ears on my bike helmet. And Joey wasn't there, and usually Joey gets all of my riding stuff together. So I had to lay out all the things the night before. Joey numbered the batteries. So that was, I was very meticulous about making sure I had all my stuff the night before, laid out, everything like that, because 90% of the time that's Joey doing all the stuff.
Yeah. And I'll say we'll talk about your troubles later, but you handled this whole weekend like
flawlessly.
Flawless, yeah.
Yeah, so...
and I know that was something that was worrying you.
I'm a little bit nervous going into Gravel Worlds now because Loudon was hard for me mentally, and I didn't get to completely finish GRUSK. So I'm going into it. Luckily, I have the Dirty Kitten, which is going to be hot, and it's going to have the Kitten Crusher. But coming off of GRUSK, coming off a really good solid climb up, mentally I'm feeling good about riding.
You did the hard part.
Yeah. But mentally I'm okay with riding the Dirty Kitten in a few weeks. So.
That's nothing compared to GRUSK as far as climbing.
I like the long, slow climb. I just had it in my head that I was going to be climbing until I got to the top. And then once I got to the top, I would be going down. And I knew looking at the course that it was only going up, riding like a little loop, and then coming down. That was my ride. So I knew that 50% of my day was going to be just a long climb.
Yeah, and it was a long climb to start the day. I want to say it was like 5 miles, 6 miles, something like that. It was a long climb.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked when we got to start. I liked because I wasn't feeling. I was out there by myself for a while, and it's kind of nice to plug in my headphones, listen to my music, and just climb up a mountain.
These things I spend all day usually by myself. I was by myself all day at Unpaved, all day by myself at GRUSK. I don't know if that's good or bad. Do you like being by yourself?
I do. I feel I get very pressured when people are passing me. Sometimes I feel pressured to keep up with a group. So riding by myself, I was just happy to be by myself and riding up a mountain.
Cool.
There was no pressure being able to stick with somebody or anything like that. So I felt better actually being by myself.
Well, I think my big mistake for the day was not putting my revolves, not putting those carbon wheels on the bike. I should have swapped those 35s out to 42s and put those revolves on. I think I would have been much better off on the climbs.
You rode your 35, or were they on the revolves?
The 35s were on my revolves, and the 50s were on the GRX. And so I just didn't swap them out. And what I really need to do is go ahead and just throw some 42s on those revolves because I think it would have made a difference on the climb. But I don't think it would have.
Provided it didn't blow up.
Let's not talk about that yet. That was probably my mistake for the day. Other than that, I think the whole thing went really well. They were talking about that. There were 4 timed segments, and the second, you didn't do these, the second timed segment was the grassy descent, which hearing people talk about it kind of spooked me. I let them get in my head a little bit, but actually, in hindsight, I believe that was actually right. It was double track, grassy, wet, slippery, and then all of a sudden the double track, that would turn into like a rut, and you couldn't get out of it. And
I get those too.
Yeah, you had it with the black lung.
Yeah. Still got a sore throat.
So I took my time going down. I just feathered the brakes and tried to stay out of people's way as best you could. But when you're in the rut, you're in the rut. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. I actually passed Travis running up the hill and a whole bunch of people running up the hill with radios. And Travis actually stopped and we chatted for a few minutes, even though it was a timed segment. He was like, "Are you worried about your time?" I was like, "Nah, come on." We chatted for a little bit. They were running up the hill to look for people that had fallen that they thought needed an ambulance. So that was my first clue that taking it easy was the right thing to do. Then once I got through the segment and entered this little cow pasture field thing, I passed 5 ambulances coming back in. Now, I don't know if was overkill and it was like they only really needed 1 or 2, but I felt pretty good that the fact that I just kind of took it easy through that. And then the last 2 segments were after the last rest stop, I believe. And I felt great on both of those. And looking at my times on them, I did great on those 2 things. I don't know if it was the late start. And, we're used to races starting at 6:37, 7:30 in the morning. And that 10:30 window, I wonder if my body was out of whack with food intake, calorie intake. That could have been.
Isn't it not? Grand Duro started like at 9 or 10 o'clock.
I really liked it.
Isn't it nice?
I liked it, but I think I need to think differently about your morning food. As I don't know. I had some fettuccine Alfredo.
Oh, yeah? You get it, Jess?
She gets it. The Office reference.
4 to 5.
Yeah.
Carb loading.
So I did feel a lot better on the last 2 segments. My shoulder's doing pretty good. Did well. Didn't have any problems.
Symmetrical?
Yep. Even though that's not necessarily the way they really look. I worry about that when I'm out on things like that because, it's still really banged up. And so I try to be careful with that. The other thing that worked really well for me from a camping perspective, I threw my new 12-volt truck fridge. Went in the truck with the battery box.
How do you
Worked beautifully.
You can fit your whole truck in a fridge?
Yes.
Okay.
It's awesome. It's really good.
Little taco holders?
You don't have to run the air conditioner. No, it actually. So I keep that down in my little bike area in the laundry room, and I keep it turned on and running, and I keep it full of drinks. So when it's already cold, and so when I put it in the truck, and it was already cold, I still had, and I'm only running a 300-watt box. I still had, after running it all day, I think 40% power left. So I think I probably, in a sunny day where I can hook up the solar panel to it and get a little juice back into it, I think I probably could get 2 or 3 days on that little fridge. I'm excited not to have to deal with ice.
Ice baby.
That's
I told you I ordered a new power station.
Yep.
Today. So if you're still listening, the Prime deals on those right now.
I'm jealous because you did get a really.
I got
nice
the Jackery 300. Well, it'll be nice because like all of College Park and Greenbelt was out without power today.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be nice even for at home.
Yep.
For me and Jess to have a power station, and then when we you really want to do some fall camping.
300 watts will take you a long time.
Yeah,
and
Jess will never have to worry about a phone.
I'm actually thinking about maybe people will be interested in this, maybe they won't. But a lot of people drive their vehicles a long ways to go to these kind of events. There's lots of in bikepacking world, the sub 24 hour is you ride and then you camp and then you ride. The gravel festival world is you drive and then you camp and then you ride and then you drive again. So it's like the exact opposite. But I was going to do a little video on, because I set up the whole system. I think it was for under $600.
Because that would have been, that's the Grinduro.
Yeah,
that's where I was a month ago.
And I could fit enough food in there. I had enough food in there. I had enough drinks in there for 2 days of whatever I needed. If I'd brought some cooking stuff, maybe throw some bacon and some eggs in there too, would have been perfect for breakfast. But I didn't. I wasn't planning on cooking breakfast. But I had room left, I think was the key. So it's the power box. It's the little fridge, and it's 22 quart, which is, small-ish when you think about it from a cooler's perspective, but you're not throwing ice in there, so you get all that space back. And then a little 100-watt solar power panel that I can hook directly into the power box to get a little juice back on it.
Our friend Daryl next to Brian had steak, eggs, fajitas, and salsa for breakfast.
Is he friends with Larry?
Yeah.
That's why.
We need to travel with Daryl now. We're going to invite Daryl to
these
everything.
Really nice pepperoni rolls too.
They had it. Yeah.
Supposedly, so they had lasagna. They had homemade lasagna ready to go.
Yes, right?
I
don't, the rest of those guys, they can come if they want, but we're going to bring Daryl from now on because they had it really set up too.
I usually just prep pulled pork before a steak is a different game.
They had the tarp spread out on the grass and nailed down. Then they had the rug on top of the cart. Then they had
a rug there?
Yeah, the double. I even had a little rug out behind my truck. Then they had the double canopy set up. And they had a little inverter doing power off of a 12 volt, and they had a little camp stove warming up the lasagna. Man, they had it
definitely
going.
West Virginia boys.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they just cook all their meals outdoors.
That's how they live.
Sorry, boys. No, it was just so cool to get to hang out with people, and I'm really bummed that we didn't get to stay. Because we were fully planning to stay Saturday. And I think a lot of people bailed.
But I didn't drive out there.
Yeah, it was really hard to come back from that ride. And it had started raining on the end of it. And now I didn't see you with your ears on your helmet when you got back. Did they hold up? I know that you were worried about that.
My ears. Yeah. I brought Velcro with me.
Okay.
I thought Velcro was going to be the way to go, but Alex said she zip tied them and then barretted them in, so the Velcro wasn't sticking to her head. And I was like, I have zip ties in my bag. So I did that. I did that on Friday. Yeah, Alex and Chris were there, and it was awesome to hang out with them and awesome to see their van set up. And
that's what I was jealous about.
It was great to see them. I mean, I know we see them a lot at events, and they're busy doing things. It was great to see them and great to hang out with them.
But they're there at this one as participants, and we were there as participants. So it's different than when you're an organizer.
100%.
And you're running around, like a chicken with your head cut off. Now, you committed to writing names on your arm, which I took some pictures of and put on Instagram. Now, who are the names that you got?
So first off, I want to shout out this girl I met. Her name is Betsy, and she...
Is that Larry's wife?
No, wait, hold on. I want to make sure I get her name right. So her name is Betsy, and I actually wanted to find her on social media because I thought she was really cool. She won the long 250.
Oh, wow.
So she came up and was talking to me, and she won the long 250.
Because Cynthia, not that she wouldn't have won if Cynthia was there, but Cynthia wasn't.
So it was really nice. I was filling up coffee, and she was like, Jess? And I was like, hello.
Oh, nice.
And, it was a cool experience. Jason, Daryl, and Larry were all there. I met Molly from Velo Pigs when I was handing out buttons.
Oh, cool.
Because what happened is you were like, give out these buttons, and I took it
you gave all the buttons out.
I gave all the buttons out, So I met, sorry, Joey's talking in the back. So Jason and Daryl were from West Virginia. And of course we had Larry. There was a Matt, a Ben, a Betsy, a JC. Molly was from Velo Pigs, and Dan M, as I missed. Dan N. I said it again. Dan M officially welcomed me into West Virginia.
Oh, nice.
Because that was the first time I ever was actually in West Virginia.
And we didn't really do a whole birthday celebration thing
but it was cool. It was a great way to, we always try to do something, Joey and I, for my birthday, experiences versus things. And that was a really nice experience to get to do.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I thought Betsy was a complete warrior, though.
That's a very high compliment.
Warrior. Oh yeah.
Warrior.
And that's why, I purposely wanted to find her on social media, and I looked for her results.
You find her?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Because to do the long 250, she was from West Virginia. Now she's in Ohio, and she was a listener, and they listened to the podcast on the way down to hype them up. So I thought that was really cool. And I loved seeing Molly on the Velo Pigs. I love seeing these females out there because it is such a male dominated. There is a lot of males out there, but hearing Molly and Betsy was a really cool thing for me to connect with other females doing these things.
Nice. So writing the names on the arm was a thing. Will you do that again?
I will. Actually, it was raining, so some of them got wet. And actually it was
Dan M may actually be Dam.
Maybe.
I don't know. Could be.
So there was a guy, I was on the top. So of course we all know my spokes broke, but I was on the top of the mountain waiting.
We haven't talked about that yet.
Oh, sorry. Preemptively, my spokes broke. But Joey, I was on top of the mountain waiting for the SAG to come pick me up. Because they didn't know if I was injured, and I wasn't injured. My bike just broke. But
unrideable.
DNF, which makes me Blake. I want to put a big old L on my hello, Blake.
At least they don't use DFL, so your DNF is better than DFL.
Yeah,
I still think because you had reason. You broke your stuff.
Yeah,
you were out there powering watts in, and the bike just blew up.
So
start calling you the Watt Wagon.
Hell yeah. Actually, I was talking to Cynthia last night, and she was telling me, she was like, that happened to me before too. And I was like, what did you do? Did you ride on it? And she was like, nope, I just had to call it a day,
Yeah.
So
well, tell people what happened.
My bike broke.
Well,
but I don't even know how it broke. I think it was because I honestly...
No one knows how.
Just JRA.
Just riding along. That's what.
Yeah. JRA.
I mean, I think it was because, okay, so I was riding down the hill. I made it to the top. I took a selfie. I was super proud of myself. My ears were doing great because it was raining, and I was really nervous that my ears were going to get all mucked up, but they didn't. They were all good. And I took a selfie by the, highest point in Spruce Knob, and I'm a mile down the mountain, and my bike just stopped, and I was like, oh shoot, and I braked as much as I could, and I pulled my bike over, and I was like, I have a flat. I need somebody to help me fix my flat. So after I
You sat there for a little bit.
I sat there for a little bit, but I asked somebody, I was like, hey, does anybody know how to fix a flat?
I have a question. Was there anything that you noticed when you were climbing up at all? Or I
was in my low gear.
But you didn't notice it doing anything weird?
No, I was on top. I took a selfie.
Folks, if you know, when you're going up Spruce Knob, it's the last mile or so is paved, which is really weird. So obviously when you get to the top and you turn back around and you're coming back down, it's still on pavement. Yeah. So I just think it was a catastrophic failure of one of the spokes that then threw everything into a tizzy, because there was 5 broken spokes.
It depends. It could have been just a ticking time bomb. It could have been on the rack weird and chafed something. It could have been from the past. It could have been her derailleur might have went in there, but it didn't rip the derailleur off.
Yeah. So a whole bunch of things.
Know.
But we will never know.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Never know.
But I felt so good. And if I didn't feel so good, I felt so good climbing up that mountain. Excuse me. Anyway, so I asked some guy, some guy came up, pulled over, and he helped me. I was like, I have a flat. Can you help me fix it? And he's like, do you know what caused the flat? And I said, nope. And he was like, do you have like stuff? And I was like, I think I have stuff. And I was like, look, I have this here Dynaplug. Do you know how to use it? And he was like, I don't think we're going to be able to use that today. And I was like,
I have this here Dynaplug.
Why? Like, I was really confused. I was like, why can't we use the Dynaplug? Like, I hear when you get a flat, you use Dynaplug, you plug it in there and it's all good. And he was like, you have a spoke broken. And I was like, okay. And I was like, can we fix it? And he's like, nope. And I was like, so what am I going to do? He's like, you're going to have to go to the aid station. And I was like, how am I going to do that? Like, the bike couldn't even roll, Joey.
Did you like cyclocross pick it up and like?
I have a picture of me with a sad face on, and I'll show it to somebody on my phone. But I have a sad face on, and I had literally carried this bike up this mountain.
You need to post that on Instagram.
It was like
Please post that on Instagram.
It was like a pitchy part. Like, it was not. It was
no.
It was here. I'm trying to find it for you. So yep, here I am holding my bike with a sad face on, and my cup holder is right by my ear because I was like literally picking up my bike.
Yep.
So I waited on the
post
top.
That's a good picture though.
I waited on the top of the mountain, and a few people were like, saying like, "Oh, just cut it off and ride down. Like, you really don't need them." Like, all these things.
Pass.
Right?
7-Eleven. All the comments I heard. I'm sorry, but some people just need to shut up.
So somebody did tell me, and
oh man.
So I know I didn't really like tell people because I was like, I don't really want to do this, but somebody was like, because you're a bigger rider, your spokes break easily.
Oh my God.
I told Joey, and I was like, Joey, it's because I'm fat, right? And Joey's like, who was it? Give me their name. And I was like,
who the hell says that?
Like,
first of all,
oh God,
I weigh a lot more than Jess, and I'm 220 pounds. And I rode those, not those exact. I beat the crap out of those revolves. Yeah, I rode single track. I did unpaved. I've done everything.
What a bunch of horse.
For someone to say that.
but you guys don't get it because you're not.
I never want to drop the F-bomb on this podcast, but it's rude.
I know, but you're not a female in the.
That is super rude.
Like, you're a female athlete. People like.
We can talk about how rude it is, but we don't understand how rude it is. Does that make sense? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, I understand how rude it's. My wife. She battles issues.
We're not
with
We're not living it. We can understand how stupid and rude it is, but you and I don't live it.
Somebody said it was because I was a more sturdy rider and I put more weight on my bearings. But there is a Sturdy Girls riding club, and I really like their jerseys, but I saw them on the mountain, so that was pretty cool.
Self-identifying.
Most carbon wheels are rated like 275-pound riders.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was bulletproof. It was just a weird fluke.
I think it was a fluke. I think it was a fluke on one of the spokes, and it caused a catastrophic kind of like.
For all you listeners, I don't think it was just one. I think it was multiple.
It was 5.
I think multiple let go one to first. Yeah.
One of them broke all the way through. If you have a broken spoke, don't continue to ride your bike. There's more
especially in gravel.
There's more possibility for failure. Make sure, and her wheel was hitting the frame. I mean, that's my tech tip of the week. If you break a spoke, don't continue to ride.
If you break a spoke, do not descend GRUSK. Do not descend Spruce Rob. If you're 5 miles from home, and you've broken one spoke and you need to just get yourself home, cut it, wrap it, do something, and then gingerly make your way home is probably okay.
No, don't ride it. Unless you're a mechanic and there's way more room for failure.
Well, I've done that. So
he broke a thing
right
on the
driveway.
Yeah, right out here.
Well, I didn't care about that. I mean, Ryan just rode home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like 5 miles from home, and you just wrap the spoke, and you be careful, and you pay attention, and you're not out there setting KO. But you don't come down GRUSK.
You got to go to work that next week, so.
You've got to pay the bills the next week.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's Saturday. You got to go to work on Monday.
Yeah.
So there were some things that I noticed that while I was standing at the aid station, the volunteers were amazing. They were incredible. I mean, it was not ideal situations, and they were happily just standing out there.
It was foggy.
Couldn't
see anything.
The people that were doing the radio, because there was no cell phone transmission or cell phone trans.
The amateur radio folks. Yeah.
They were amazing. Like, I said, can I go on the loudspeaker? I just need to tell Travis I'm okay. And they're like, nope, I I got it. I was like, no, you need to tell Travis I'm okay. Like, cause I was nervous. I was nervous that, you know, they were going to be waiting around for me, or like, because it was going to take a while because there were so many emergency vehicles out on the snowy bypass, or not snowy bypass, the grassy descent. I don't know where I got snowy bypass from.
Snowy Mountain, because we passed Snowy Mountain going in.
The Snowy Mountain. But it was, the radio people were amazing. Somebody picked me up and we talked the entire way down. It was awesome when we were driving down to see people pushing their bikes at some points. Like, you know, people like couldn't make it down or were going up and down, and then like being able to see them finish. Like I was like, hey, oh my God, we saw you. You did it. You know, so that was really cool. I was cheering at the end. It was a little rainy. So, and then I started talking to Betsy. So we missed our friends coming in from West Virginia.
Okay.
Because I was waiting at the finish line for them. But because I didn't have cell phone service.
Where were you when I came in? Because you were up by
talking to my friend
you were up
Betsy.
at the top of the chute when I came back around.
Yes, and that's where I stood, is because I wanted to make sure.
I may have just missed you coming in.
Probably.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. I mean, what a great experience to do. I know I was really weary about doing it by myself and without you, Joey, and it was a really cool experience with a lot of amazing people out there.
Absolutely. Great event. I mean,
great event. I'm ready to do it again next year. Like,
I would drop it all to go do that
100%.
Again. Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. Even with that weather.
Yeah.
Well, even with that weather, I mean,
even with that weather, it was amazing.
It was just the sense of community, and Travis did not let any details slip. Everything was taken care of. Everything was buttoned up.
I think I actually stole Travis's personal Rice Krispie treats because there was a cooler and it said Olsen on it, and there was Rice Krispie treats sitting on top. So I took a few. I was like, oh, I'll have nutrition food. And then I didn't realize, but none of the aid stations had Rice Krispie treats. So I think they were Travis's personal Rice Krispie treats that he was saving for himself. Oh. And I personally stole them from him. They're still in the cabinet.
Well, let's return them. You should mail them back.
I should mail in Rice Krispie treats back. Like, Travis, you did so much for me. Thank you so much. Like, you truly it captured the spirit of gravel this weekend for me. Here are your Rice Krispie treats. And they were the minis, and I started like, oh, look at these Rice Krispie treats.
Oh, those are dangerous because then you eat a whole bunch of them.
I know.
It's just a mini. I ate 8 of them.
I honestly took them right off his cooler, and then I was pushing my bike up to meet Brian and our West Virginia friends, and I was like, it like dawned on me. I was like, I just think I stole Travis's Rice Krispie treats. Like, I don't think those were for everybody. I think those were for Travis.
I want to give a shout out to the beer vendor. Anybody can look that up.
Yeah, he knew me. He was like, hey, Jess, what do you want?
Greenbrier Valley.
Yeah.
Because I had the Zona's Revenge was a wit beer. And the wit beers can sometimes be a little light. It was Greenbrier Valley Brewing. Well, we all wear Goodars now. I bought myself some Goodars today.
Hey, no way.
Yes, I did. Some of the members I was complaining about, I needed something big.
Yeah.
Got me some of them big Goodar wraps.
Did you get the purple ones like I have?
I think so, Joey.
No, he got the like the black with a little pink.
Little pink.
Oh, nice. You can get the matching socks from Ridge Supply.
Can I really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all over that.
Ridge Supply has matching socks.
I do my own stunts.
Yes, I'm all over that. Okay, so Strava Club. Let's do Strava Club.
All right, so let me get back to my computer. All right, Sarah Skeely from Enfield, New Hampshire, with 187.1.
Good job, Sarah.
Oh boy. John Wagaman from Buffalo, New York, with 147.0.
Now, John's a friend of mine, and this is all random. John, you did a really good job with his name, Wagaman. John worked with me on the last trip I did, the Blue Ridge. I worked with John on Empire State Ride, and he actually sent me a message. He was like, hey, am I in the Strava Club like a week or two ago? Because I guess he was trying to figure out if he was actually in there or not. Oh. So. And comes up random, and it is this week was totally random. No method to the madness.
And then another John, but it's John Gray from Chesapeake, Virginia, with 270.7.
It's big wows.
Yeah, so we needed 136.7 to break in the top 100, and we were up to 833 from something before.
At GRUSK, they were talking about the Strava Club. They were talking about our West Virginia friends next to us. We're talking about the Strava Club and
our Strava Club.
Yeah. And our friend Jason, he's an LEL cycling kit. He was wearing that LEL cycling kit. Yep. He said he was a random shout out one before on the Strava Club.
Nice.
His dad was Daryl, and I'm just thinking about Daryl on his e-bike on the Strava Club. So I'm hopeful that Daryl's on our
I hope Daryl's in there.
I hope Daryl is too. He won his e-bike category.
Daryl came by me as I was climbing up Spruce Knob. He's like, "Oh man, on your ride."
That's what Jess said.
I love him. Like, I officially loved him. Like,
how can you find it, Joey?
Strava.com clubs gravel travel dirt.
Yep, there it is. So come on over to Strava. If you're not on Strava,
but talk with Dan, e-bike man.
Yeah. So this or that. I've got, I think, some good this or that's. Jess, you're first.
Holy moly.
Then me, then Joey. First item on this week's this or that. Would you rather have 50 free extra watts on a long climb, so more power, more free power going up a long climb, or to be guaranteed a solid and safe descent at high speed?
Guarantee a solid, safe descent at high speed.
Okay.
Because I think part of the reason why my wheel/tire broke was because I was like feathering the brakes constantly.
Nah.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
You did not get it out of your head that you did something to break that. That was a catastrophic equipment failure that probably kind of like escalated, mushroomed or something from one thing.
Spitting out white gunky stuff.
Well, that's because the spokes were blowing the sealant out through the holes. Man, that's tough. This is a tough one, and I wrote it. I would love to have some extra watts going up a long climb.
No, you just want to fly down the mountain. Like, you want to be going so fast your eyes are tearing.
Nope. I told Jess I was so scared of her descending and didn't have to worry about it.
Because my bike broke.
We weren't supposed to tell her that I snipped that spoke when she got to the top of the hill.
For everyone that knows, I mean, Jess is starting to mountain bike, but Jess is not that safe descending.
Joey, I'm not even safe crossing the road.
She's just full send. She is full send.
You remember
all
we were
the time.
riding Loudon and just like locking up brakes and skidding all over and like running into thing? I'm like, we're going to learn a little. I'm
just so glad you did not have to do the grassy descent. Because that would have been one of those ambulances would have been for you.
I just like to go I'm a slower person, so when I get to go fast down a mountain, I get really excited.
I'm going to go with those extra watts going up a long climb. I would love to be able to climb a little faster, and maybe those wheels would have probably given me an extra 15 watts, 10 watts,
10, yeah,
easy. Where are you at?
As much as I do love to go fast, I do always talk about. When you have these big climbs, there's usually a really long, really fast descent. I don't like going over like 40 plus miles an hour. I'd have a little more controlled. I feel like I'm a good descender and I fly and I'm smooth, but every time I do that, like Marcus is screaming down like at 55 miles an hour past me.
It's also, the way that all these event directors are moving to the timed segments, the segments are never the descent. The segments are always the climb. So I think
we have a descent at Grinduro.
The grassy descent was one. I think that was a good this or that. I think I tried to figure out the right number. I started at like 15, not worth it. 25, not worth it. But 50 extra free watts, that's a big number. Second item, Jess, dorm life or truck tent camping?
I don't know. The dorm life, it was like me and Joey in a dorm. Like, I'd be like a little bit more like, I can throw my shit over here. I can do all this stuff. Because there was somebody else I was like really nervous. Like, and there were supposed to be 5 girls in my room, but there was only me and Cindy.
Okay.
Cindy also did the long weekend.
Cindy Lou who?
I don't know her last name.
Okay.
Cindy, poor Cindy, has to listen to my snoring. She did the long weekend, but she was in the top bunk, I was in the bottom bunk, so the dorm life was pretty fine. Joey would have been mad, but I put the cooler and the bike outside of the dorm because
left the Yeti unguarded.
Yeah, but it said like no food inside, which I guess because of mountain bears or stuff like that, or mountain lions or
mice.
Bears. Mice. Okay, well, I didn't bring any of my food stuff into the mud hut.
Okay. I enjoyed camping in the truck. I think that's something that I'm going to figure out a way to do more and maybe better of. Joey?
I'm going to go rooftop tent.
I mean, I'm really seriously looking harder to go fast camper. I'm actually talking to a guy right now up in Maine that's got a used one for sale.
You drive to Maine for that?
Yeah, it's better than driving to Montana.
Oh,
Montana, you got to go to Montana to get those.
Will they install it for you in Montana, though?
Yes, they will.
What about Maine?
Maine, but really all it is lifting it up and setting it down and putting new seals on it and bolting it down. It uses the tracks on the Tacoma. I don't think that's really an issue. And then when I get it here, I can just pick it up with a forklift if I ever want to take it off. The bulbs.
I mean, it's nice having a forklift. Oh my God,
it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice having a forklift. Yeah, it is.
It'd be nice taking that tin off my roof.
Well, you can always come by and do it.
That's why I forgot you have a forklift.
Yeah, come on by anytime.
And I store it up there. I'll pay you $1
with it. We can do forklift wars in the barn. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Third item: no cell coverage for 2 days, or spot on fast cellular service. But Jess, you got no Instagram access.
Oh no!
No!
I was sorry. I was. So it kept telling me that I had like 15 messages on Instagram, but like I couldn't get to it. Like it
that must have drove you nuts.
Well, it did, because like it said like you have 15 inboxes, and I was like, holy moly!
I kept looking over, and she was looking at the same picture on Instagram.
Same post.
Some little baby.
It was the Pennsylvania dirtbags had a baby on their post, and it was just I just kept reading the post about the baby because like it wouldn't scroll through my Instagram.
Oh my God.
So what are you gonna pick?
Cell service was tough because it's like number one, like I want to make sure I can talk to Joey. Like when I was on top of the mountain, I was like, let me just call my husband and see if I can ride down with 5 spokes missing.
She did call me, and I literally am telling the boys like 10 minutes before, like I was like, this is kind of weird. Jess is on this, big ride without cell phone service, blah, blah, blah. Like, I won't really know how anything went till like Sunday. And like 10 minutes later, I get a phone call.
Joey, I'm on top of the mountain.
She's like, 5 of my, and she didn't call him, I forgot what she called him, but I'm like, and then I put 2 together. I'm like, she was a good spirit about it.
Yeah, you handled all of that controversy. Did you?
No, I didn't.
So you handled all that controversy so well, like a champ.
Yeah.
I am definitely going to go with cell service because it's tough when you can't even text the people that you're at the event with. Like, hey, are you down at the beer tent? Or like, hey, are you finished with your ride yet?
Yeah.
It's like you're totally lost at a big venue. So I don't care about Instagram. I would definitely love that.
I mean, I track Joey when he's in Solomon's every single day.
Yeah,
I leave work, I make sure Joey's at Solomon's, and then I go home, Well,
every time I'm anywhere in Solomon's, it's like, hey, what are you doing at McDonald's?
Today he told me.
Snaking me some Wi-Fi, bud. All right, Joe, what are you at?
I like not having service at Grenduro.
Yeah?
Or unpaved at times up in the mountains. I don't know. I've been...
Okay, so you're a hermit. That's fine.
I like not having it.
Yeah.
Once you get used to it, you're like,
I want to talk to you, Jess. So...
I was going to say, nobody was concerned about me on this big mountain.
I like not having cell phone service.
Just like, here, Jess, you get Brian for a weekend, and now Brian must take care of you. Like,
we had a baller time, though, didn't we?
I was just spot on with medicine. Jessica, make sure you take your medicine. Jessica, Joey's not here. You have to take your medicine.
We sang songs like top of our lungs, like almost the whole
Sturgill
way
Simpson?
home. Yeah, we did everything. What, Sweet Caroline, we were blowing the horn. Yep.
We did that. That happened.
We don't even do that on our trips.
Man, we had a great time, and thank you very much for putting up with my
it was awesome.
Bad singing.
It was awesome.
So that
the
got us
selfie that you and Travis took was amazing. I didn't see it until I got home, but it was a great selfie. Like I could see you like getting on your bike going, and he's like there taking a selfie. Like
he was like, "Hey, are you worried about your time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, right. Let's take a picture. Let's take it again."
When I was handing out buttons, people asked me if I was on the Dirty Kitten podcast, and I was like, nope, other podcast. But I guess for that, like, I understand where their confusion was. Like, I was wearing a Dirty Kitten shirt with ears,
We need something that has, like, our branding on it because it was really like, the Dirty Kitten, Alex and Chris had their tent with Dirty Kitten all over it. And
but once I started walking around handing out those buttons, people were like, hi, Jess. And I was like, hello. I mean, that's where I met like 15 or 16 people just walking up and down the thing and just saying, does anybody want a button?
Yeah.
And some guy, Joey, did not want my button.
I know. What's that all about? Somebody's like, no, I don't want the button.
He was like, what would I do with this button? And I was like, you would put it on your bag?
Like, don't you have like 20 bike bags?
Yeah.
Are you
No,
really?
I
Even
guess not.
What is the minimum number of bike bags required to sit in your closet to be considered a gravel
I
ride?
got a lot of bike bags.
I got a bunch too. I cleared out a whole cabinet at home for.
I'm looking at the Fjallraven rear bag for bike packing one. Fjallraven with Specialized.
Okay.
I'm kind of anti all that stuff,
Yep.
but the one thing Nittany lacks is like a 16, 17 liter trunk bag.
Oh, you're talking about something that goes on top of a rack?
No. I'll show you. It's anyway.
Oh, it's like a big seat pack.
Josh Sanchez lost my Apidura, the one I used last year with Nadine's.
Oh, yes.
And I could buy an Apidura. I could buy the Fjallraven.
I like that bag.
I love the Apidura.
I love having that bag. You're saying you're anti that bag?
No. I've been anti the Specialized Fjallraven.
Oh, I got you. I hear you.
Collaboration. I'm going to stick to the made in the U.S. and Pennsylvania stuff, but
The man who picked me up on the top of the mountain, he also has a Specialized shop, and he was trying to ask me like specialized questions, and I was like, I don't know, man. I just have a bike. Like,
I don't know, man. Specialized out to get us all.
You know, like I don't really know. He's like, what kind of bags do you sell? I was like, Nittany bags, and like, you know, he was asking me questions because it was a long car ride down the mountain.
Did you tell them that you like sell Ridge Supply and you're the only supplier of Ridge Supply gear outside of Ridge Supply itself?
No, I didn't know that. Wow.
No, we're not the only. What the heck is the dog doing? No, we will be the only supplier of the some of the clothes that Matt's coming out with.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
No, there's a couple shops that sell socks.
Right.
Not a lot though.
Right. That's what I'm sorry, I got that wrong. But it's you're
but
gonna be
we are a few weeks out from the new yacht club looking.
I want that.
I'm excited
I ordered
for that.
a set for you.
Bad. Thank you. Okay, last item on this or that.
It'll be $400.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just kidding.
Cold shower from a bucket or drive 5 hours caked in mud. Jess?
I drove. No, I wiped off.
I gave you baby wipes.
Yeah, that's what I used.
Okay.
So I wiped off, but I honestly wasn't super muddy because I didn't do the down in the rain. I just did the up, and you really don't get too dirty doing up in the rain.
When you're in the pack. When you're in the pack, you know.
No, I was there
when you're by
singing.
yourself, you kind of like, I didn't have a lot of mud on me. I had mud on my legs, but not on the rest of
It'd
me.
be nice.
I
I
think
cleaned
I
your
s-
bike and everything for you.
I told Brian, I was like, oh, Joey has to clean all these bikes. And he's like, Joey doesn't clean my bike. I was like, oh, he cleans mine.
I would have to say the cold shower from a bucket. I'm not driving 5 hours caked in mud. Although I did find the secret shower at GRUSK. There is a secret shower. I don't know if I should have just shared that information. Should I? There's no showers at GRUSK. There's no showers there. Anyway.
I thought there were showers.
Nope, no showers. No showers.
They're secret.
They're secret
supposed to
showers.
know
There's
of
some
them.
secret showers. Can you imagine having 500 people want to take a shower in
In
one
three
shower?
showers,
that
three
doesn't-
shower stalls.
That doesn't really work. So I was prepared. I had 18 gallons of water. I had my little
Larry
pump.
had a lot of water too.
Yeah, that's just we're just prepared. But I would definitely go with a cold shower from a bucket. I can't drive around caked in mud. Joey?
Oh, I would do the cold shower.
Yeah.
Actually, should have fully hoboed bath last month because the showers were. It was a sauna. I was sweating in my shower at Granduro and their shower truck.
Yeah.
But the creek was right across the street, which I got in right after.
Oh, hobo bath.
Hobo bath,
Yeah.
cold shower, 5-gallon bucket, whatever you got to do.
Make sure you're using some
It is
biodegradable
much-
soap.
It's much better to take that cold shower and feel clean.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
It's a shock to the system. You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but I mean it
Feels good.
Yeah, it feels good.
And you're clean.
Did everybody finish this section? Because I wanted to state. Okay. I had to take 3 showers today because the school where I teach at summer school does not have air conditioning. So I took a shower when I got home. I took a shower after running. So there was a few showers going on today.
Well, I
need a shower. I had a marathon day.
I would definitely need to take a shower. Anybody got anything else before we shut this down?
Thank you to everybody that was at GRUSK. Thank you for everybody who has been writing in, asking how our trip was. Thank you so much. It was truly, when I look at the people riding a gravel event and look at the people on the Tour de France, I'm like, road cycling is never going to be as popular as gravel because of how inclusive how inclusive the gravel community is, and how we welcome everybody, and we're helping each other set up tents and everything like that. Yeah. And I look at the diversity of riders we have in gravel versus the diversity they have in road riding. And I truly felt a part of a community this weekend, so it was fantastic.
We are really making some strides in the gravel world with some diversity between men and women, and having more women represented. Now we just got to cross those next bridges, and I think we're doing a lot. And the event, I say we are, but it's actually the event directors doing the non-binary stuff.
100%.
That's
100%.
And when they see an opportunity to try to make it more inclusive, they're jumping on it, and that's what we need to do.
Shameless plug: I have Diverges and Cruxes in my store. If you're looking to participate in these gravel events,
well, that's
I've already sold all my salsas.
That's big news. You actually have
I have size stock. Between us and Proteus, we have size runs of Cruxes right now. Crux comps.
Really?
We got Carbon Diverges in almost a size run, with a couple extras in some sizes. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, and some of those have, so the Cruxes are Apex and Rival or whatever. They're SRAM. But I think the Carbon Diverges are GRX.
Wow.
Finding a GRX anything right now is like finding a unicorn.
Well, you got them.
Even my Shimano rep doesn't know where GRX stuff is.
You got unicorns. I'm over here messing with Blake with this ice cream cup. I don't want you to eat the ice cream cup, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. Thanks again to all of our podcast supporters on Patreon. Huge shout out to Philip over at Cutaway. Thank you for your continued and ongoing support, not only of the podcast, but also of our listeners by providing that discount.
And my store.
And Patuxent Adventure Center, absolutely.
He provides all my clothing.
Yep. How can folks get in touch with us, Joey?
Well, you can tell us you don't want a button in person, or if we're not at an event, you can find us at graveltraveldirt.com, and our Instagram is at MidAtlanticGTD.
Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt is recorded this week from right here in Joey's kitchen when he wasn't muted. That'll be the parts you enjoy. Thanks for riding along until next time. Do good, be nice, go slow, respect others.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Love you, Dave. I haven't mentioned Dave in 2 weeks.
Love you, Travis.
And Travis, yeah.
Yeah.
Meow.